Charles Tannock MEP, you're a British Conservative MEP. We're celebrating today 20 years since the Good Friday Agreement. What does it mean for you back then in '98?
Well, of course, it was a breakthrough. I still remember the '94 ceasefire with the IRA, and that was obviously at the time of John Major, and then it was finally Tony Blair who signed the final agreement 20 years ago today. And, you know, there was a number of Irish Taoiseachs. I mean, even Albert Reynolds, John Bruton, Bertie Ahern, it all came together, and I think it was a magnificent achievement, really. And I remember Mo Mowlam. I mean, obviously, I'm of an age where these were major political figures in my early life on what was one of the biggest threats to our security then, which was terrorism, IRA terrorism on the mainland. And so a very important date, the 20th anniversary. It's particularly emotional for me because I'm a dual national. I have an Irish passport as well as a British passport, which I've acquired since the Brexit referendum. I'm a strong Remainer. I think that Brexit is a mistake, but clearly we have to do everything possible to minimise the impact at the Irish border. And I'm delighted that the backstop is still in place from the December agreement. And it's totally unacceptable to have a hard border between the north and the south.
Your party, the British Conservative Party, played a very important role, as you've mentioned, in establishing the Good Friday Agreement. The persistent effort and commitment by people like John Major and Paddy Mayhew and others helped deliver that agreement. Do you think there is still that commitment to the peace process within the current Conservative Party?
Well, I am worried. I mean, the fact that the DUP were against it at the time, you know, I remember the figures, 70% or so thereabouts in Northern Ireland, over 90% in the Republic in the referendum, but the DUP in its infancy then were against it. I worry that major figures in the government like Michael Gove were against it. I'm worried that people like Daniel Hannan, MEP, was, making comments about it fairly recently, and even Barry Gardiner from the Labour Party making a comment only in the last couple of days. There does seem to be a move afoot by the Brexiteers, the hardline Eurosceptics, to belittle or diminish the importance of the Good Friday Agreement. That, to me, is a tragedy. That's a very dangerous thing to do. I think they are playing with fire. This was based on the agreement with the IRA, the ceasefire in '94. I think that there is always going to be extremists on all sides who would be itching for a fight again if given half a chance, organised criminals and so on. We mess with the Good Friday Agreement at our own peril. So I sincerely hope that there is the will on all sides to keep the border open.
Brexit is going ahead. What sort of arrangement would you like to see at the border to make sure that it doesn't damage the peace process? Theresa May has said she's very committed to a soft border. Is it possible, though?
Well, I mean, I'm writing a paper on this as we speak, which will be published fairly soon. I am of the view that Northern Ireland and the DUP, if they were to be intelligent about this matter, they would realise that actually aligning themselves in the single market and the customs union with the European Union and with the Republic would make Northern Ireland, the province, a magnet for inward investment. I also think they are completely inconsistent when they say that they have to leave with the rest of the United Kingdom and have exactly the same arrangements as the mainland, because it's perfectly clear that only a few years ago, people like Arlene Foster, they were fully in favour of having their own separate corporation tax rate aligned with Dublin. They wanted to have airline passenger duty aligned between Belfast Airport and Dublin. So when it suits them, it's great to be in line with the Republic. But when they are now on a different trajectory, the Brexit one, they say they have to be exactly the same as England and Scotland and Wales. I don't agree. I think that it would make much more sense to have an alignment north-south, and that's why I would be recommending that they stay in the single market and the customs union, and that they should be rewarded for that, and they would be rewarded for that. One of the things that I'm in favour of is a fixed link between Northern Ireland and Scotland, a bridge and a tunnel. It's high time. Forget about this Boris idea of a new bridge to France between England and France. Why not spend some money on building a fixed link to reassure those in Northern Ireland, that there is this continuity with the rest of the United Kingdom. So those are the kind of things, if there was imaginative thinking, could actually close the deal. I was in favour a few months ago, and I called for it to have a referendum in Northern Ireland to decide on whether they stayed in the single market and the customs union. Again, that would have put it back to the people of Northern Ireland to decide, but unfortunately that idea didn't fly. But I do think there has to be some imaginative thinking here. Heads need to be knocked together, because clearly what we do not want is any risk of returning to the Troubles.